What's your second job look like? Stay tuned. Welcome to this week's edition of NoteSchool TV, episode number 277. We are happy to have you with us today. Hope you're staying warm wherever you are, right? And we've got a great guest today, as we always do. I'm going to bring on Eddie in just a second. But before we do, I just want to say, if you want to know more about what we do at NoteSchool, simply go to noteschool.com/TV. Again, noteschool.com/TV. And with that, I want to bring on, our founder, our chief visionary officer, all-around good guy, Mr. Eddie Speed.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm revved up.
You know what? You and I were having a conversation yesterday afternoon, and it was, it's catching, right? I mean, we got a lot going on, and it's really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's a good time in the market, and you guys are going to love this guest today.
Yes.
This is a guy that tried other stuff, and he found out that notes were better, and I think that his story will resonate with you guys. So, I'm ready to do it.
All right, I'm going to jump off. You guys have a good interview, and I'll see you on the end.
So one of the cool things about Note School is Joe and I get to know these students. We become very good friends with them. I've hung out with this guy. I've been hunting with him. He's a good guy. He's a family man. And he just has a very contagious story about how he deliberately chose this over some other things. You guys welcome Mr. Doug Faus. I am glad to have you today. We're having a little winter here in Texas, right? Now, winter in Texas is not the same as winter where you live, but we think it is.
Well, that's probably true. It's the 40s here, and we're probably in shorts today.
No, we didn't have much winter early in the year, so we're gonna take that. Doug, I am so glad to have you today. Every time I see a picture of you and your beautiful family, I think you're a lucky man.
I agree.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, let's go back a little bit in time, right? Let's go back, what was your situation really like kind of before Note School?
Yeah, so I've spent a lot of time in my life trying to make good investments. Historically, I've really been somebody that's kind of been kind of narrowed down into stocks and bonds and rental houses. I've had a few rental houses in my life as well, but that was really kind of my focus. I work in healthcare and spend my day doing that. So I have to find something where I can kind of work in the mornings and the evenings to kind of do my studying.
Got it. So you're a part-time investor. And that's the story of most of our audience. Doug, I'm curious, like before Notes, what was the biggest frustration or really confusion about what real estate investing was at that time?
Well, I always loved real estate investing, read a ton of books and audio tapes and you name it. And I think the thing that I always run into is the time barrier. A lot of strategies do require time, and they require daytime hours where the strategy might involve fixing and flipping and, having to work during the day. But I have a daytime job and not able to kind of carve out too much time to do that. I can sneak an hour or two in a week doing that. But most of what I have to do it's got to be done in the early morning hours. So that was one of my frustrations. And then believe it or not, in Wyoming, the rental market is kind of a little bit rough to make that numbers work. And so I've kind of had to invest remotely, and I've had some success doing that, but it presents its challenges. So that's kind of what I was feeling when I kind of tripped across Notes.
So I want to go, let's dig into that a little bit. Because you said something I think relates to a lot in the audience, like this frustration of time, right? That's the one thing we can't get back in life, right? Like you can't get your time back.
Right.
And this frustration of time, and and then all of a sudden you kind of got to deal with real estate promote, which is not the same as dealing with notes remote, right? So I want to talk about this time thing a little bit. What's that feel like?
Well, with what I've experienced with real estate notes is I can do a lot of this work in the early morning. I'm kind of an early morning riser, so 4:30 or 5, whatever it might be, you can do a lot of work on real estate notes without needing the daylight hours, and that's the kind of the time of the day where I don't have to kind of rob, obviously, from my own job, but also my family. And that's been one of the beauties about investing remotely with notes is I can kind of time slot that into a part of the day where I don't have to conflict with other things in my life.
Yeah, it's the one thing that we know in having a family that that time you spend with them is golden, right? And to think, well, I spent my time gone from them, or even emotionally gone from them, because you're sitting in there working on something, it's not worth it, is it?
Right. Yep. Yeah. And the evenings are usually, a lot of our family time is in the evenings, whether it's sporting activities and in some real estate professions, the evenings you have to work. And I've tried a little bit of that, and I just don't enjoy that. You know that you're sacrificing your family for that.
All right. So part-time gig, you're looking for something that has better time. So what is it that you were looking for that was different or maybe even simpler?
Yeah, I was looking for a couple of things, and we've already talked about the time part, but I historically, like I said, I had stocks and bonds, and I joined NoteSchool back in 2021. But in the previous year or two, my bond portfolio was not doing very well, and I needed something that I could go out and get a better return on that money, and really something that acted more like a bond, that kind of kicked off payments and had some income to it as well. So that's why Notes was so attractive, because of the income it produces on a monthly basis for me.
So you like the fact that Notes had a good return.
Yep.
Better than other investments.
That's exactly right.
All right. We hear this second part. I'm going to ask you again. We hear this a lot where like real estate is simple and notes are not simple. Is that true?
Well, I haven't experienced that. So, I mean, I understand both of them. It's like what I was struggling with notes. I once I kind of learned about it, it took me a long time in my life to figure out that there was such a thing as a note. But once I figured it out, the resources with NoteSchool, I mean, it really shines the light on what you need to know, and that part made it really easy for me. But without that, I was struggling to really understand fully what you would have to know about notes. So that kind of was the missing key for me once I discovered notes.
Well, anything without a recipe or an assembly system can be kind of hard to figure out, right? That's why we built those blueprints, right?
That's right.
But the truth of the matter is, like I'm thinking, like for me, and I think for you, like, no, notes are simple. Real estate's actually not simple, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong with a real estate deal.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't have any qualms with that. So I've found notes to be something where you can do your due diligence, understand a note that you're going to purchase, and then I've had some School of Hard Knocks too, so I've learned a lot as well. But just that hand holding that you get with the NoteSchool platform really is got me. So I've been able to pursue and buy quite a few notes.
Yeah. I think most everything in life, it's usually easier when you have some coaching, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of figured that that's why we built a school, but it doesn't keep you up at night, and that's what's important to me, right? You got your time back. You like your investments. You're getting paid. You feel like you're making more than other real estate type investments would make. So it's pretty much check yes in the blank, right?
Yeah, that's been my experience. I still have some rentals, and last month, for instance, my whole rental, 3 houses out of my Little Rock market, completely disappeared to a new heating system. So my notes don't do that to me, but my real estate rental houses do.
How's that feel?
It's not very fun.
Man, and gosh, you just think about it, like the bank got paid, right? Who didn't get paid is you, Doug.
Yep, that's exactly
right? The bank where you have a mortgage, they got their payment. They know what they made. Problem is you didn't know what you made until it was over, and then you found out you made nothing.
Yeah, and with rental houses, you have tenants, and they do some crazy, wondrous things to your houses. It's pretty interesting.
I have heard it's their own decoration system, right?
That's right.
All right. When you first heard about notes, like what was it that stood out? Like what was it that was curious to you? Like what did you see? I'm kind of relating this to our audience sitting here that may know about other things more than they know about notes. What jumped out at you?
Well, the thing that jumped out at me is, mostly it was fun to learn, but it's the passive side of it. You spent some time understanding how to buy a note, but what I was attracted by this was, there's some activities you have to do throughout the year, just to keep up in your notes and make sure that they're paying and things like that. And real estate, make sure the taxes are paid, some of those nitty gritty details, but by and large, it's passive for me. And it just gives me the opportunity to take that money. And currently I'm taking that money and I'll buy more notes. So that's what I like, is how I can take and flex my time and work on this in my off hours. And I can just look in my bank statement every month and see payments that are there, and they're deposited there by my servicer, and they do the work of handling some things that if something isn't going exactly right.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what we want, right? Like you're not having to go service the loan. You have a servicer do it, and they just kind of wire the money to you.
That's right.
Well, that would have made me curious when I first got introduced to it. Now, I was introduced to it at 20 years old, right? But the only thing that I could relate to is you just had to go work for something, right? The idea of getting paid while you sleep was kind of beyond my scope until I kind of understood this. For me.
Yeah.
So what part of note investing, and I'm going to go back a little bit, like what part of note investing is simpler and more approachable to you?
Well, once it's logical, I mean, as you think about a note, there's some very key things that happen when you're evaluating a note, and that once you learn that, it just repeats itself. So it's not like it's very achievable to get that knowledge and make a decision to buy a note. So that's one thing that I really like. And then, pair that with NoteSchool resources, your network of people you meet in NoteSchool. So like I can bring, and I've brought multiple things onto the weekly calls and get advice, get some, tough love from you and others. And that just helps you helps you make better decisions, and pass on some things that you might be contemplating, or indeed execute on something that you were thinking. And that network of friends that I've met, people like Wayne or Tom or John, these are people that you can call, and they're going to give you some advice as well. So it's been a great environment to invest, and quite frankly, have a lot of fun and friends.
Yeah, we've kind of intentionally built a tribe, a community, right?
Yeah, you have. It's different. I'm sure people who maybe watch this will have joined other platforms before, and you just don't ever get the chance to interact with the people that you're apparently thinking you're going to. And that's what I've loved about this: the on-site events where you get to spend days with people. Like you had mentioned, we've gone hunting together. I spent 3 days with you and many other people there, and just learning into the wee hours of the night. That's priceless.
Pretty good time.
Yeah.
Pretty good time. I no doubt about it. That was a great time. All right, so I'm gonna switch gears on you. How is it that learning about notes then changes how you think about like real estate, or you think about money? Like, does it make you think about it differently?
Well, it does, and that's what's so cool about this business is I'm a passive investor, and so I'm buying it for the income for me. But there's so many other avenues with what you can do with a note and grow other portions of your business. If you want to attack this full time, you can be very successful in this. And I think that's the beauty of this business is you have lots of different options and different avenues to pursue. So, I love being the bank, and I never knew you could be the bank. I always thought you had to go to a bank and get your mortgage. I up until 5 years ago, I just didn't know this was possible. So it's fun.
It is fun. It is fun. And I hear this all the time. And I mean, obvious can see you're a smart guy. You're worldly. You understand things of the world. And people just like, I had no idea I could be the bank. Right? I mean, I think that's just the normal answer until you do have that idea you could do it, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so I want you to kind of talk to the audience a little bit, because you're just a little further down the road than some of them. Okay, you're just a normal guy with a family. You want your time back. You want something that's easier. But now I want you to talk to them a little bit, because they could be sitting back here thinking, well, is real estate, this feels complicated, and real estate investing is complicated, or note investing, like talk to them. Like, is it for them? Is note investing for this audience?
Well, I most certainly think so. I mean, I say come to the note side. Everybody's got different, things that they want to focus on in life, but this investing in notes just gives you that opportunity to make great returns on your money. But it also, for me, it's just really ties into that quality of life, and I've been able to build a portfolio where I could walk away from my job, and that I enjoy what I do, so I'm not going to do that. But if I were to ever get sent down the road, I know I can travel down that road and not be begging for money. So I think that's another piece of it. You can build that stability in your life, and that to me was huge.
Did I hear you say that you've been able to continue investing enough that you would have the freedom that if you lost your job, you wouldn't panic?
No, I would not panic. You'd probably have a moment of you have to come back to reality, but no, I would be totally fine to walk away and be okay.
Doug, that's why I built NoteSchool. I mean, I understand we do business with each other, and we my note training business, my note trading business sells notes to you and all that stuff, and you've been a student, but I built Note School to hear somebody say that. That is freedom.
Yeah, that's absolute freedom. And some people take that freedom and they say bye-bye to their job if they don't enjoy it. And there's a lot of people I've met that have done that through Note School. And then they do this business full time. Yeah. And it's a phenomenal business if you want to do it full time as well. You can.
It is.
You can have fun.
Look, my daughter's a professional ballet dancer, right? So you think she's going to go give that up? No. My son is a firefighter, right? He is the perfect fit for the fire department. Now, today he's working in the note business because he's off at the fire department, right? So I never think you need to do this full-time or part-time. You pick.
Yep.
All right, super quick. We don't do all this just for our health, right? We really do it for a why. What's that why look like for you?
Well, for me, it's kind of three things. It's basically has given me an avenue to spend more time with my family. It gives me this, especially this evening freedom, where I can work on this stuff in the morning, go to my job, and then I have my evenings free. So that's a big piece. I coach my son in basketball. I've coached my daughter in basketball. So I mean, that's fun to be able to do that and not have that interference. Second thing is we like to do some traveling, and I can do this business wherever I might be. I can do this, so it doesn't create any problems with that. And then the last thing is financial independence. I've always been focused on that with all of my investments, and it certainly has done that for me as well. And so when I choose to step away from my job at a hospital, I'll be fine, and that was real key for me.
You're a great inspiration. And I want to thank you. Our audience thanks you because they're kind of figuring this out a little bit, and they're thinking, maybe I could be like Doug. And the answer is, I hear from you, yes, they can.
You can 100% do this. Put some time into it. Absorb the resources that are provided to you, which are immense. And this is, you will be able to do this. No problem.
No kidding. That's right. All right, Joe, close us out, sir.
Thank you, Doug. So, Doug, I heard you say two things. Well, around this, right? Number one, we always hear, right? We always hear, gosh, I wish I'd have found this 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, right? And, that's when we hear that, we're like, well, that's why we do what we do, so that you can have that. And we also talk about the things that we love about notes. And the biggest thing really is that you can do the work once and you get paid for a long time. So, guys, Doug, thanks so much. You are an inspiration. We look forward to seeing you at an event here pretty quick. And thanks so much for being on with us today.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Doug. Bye-bye.
So, guys, if you want to learn more about what we do at Note School, simply go to noteschool.com/TV. Again, noteschool.com/TV. One other thing I'm going to share with you before we sign off today. And, we talk to people all the time, and, finding houses is to invest in is kind of hard, because everybody's chasing those. That's why we say, come on over to the note side. The water's fine, right? Well, maybe depending on where you live, it's not fine today, but the water's fine, right? There are plenty of notes out there and not so many chasing them. So again, noteschool.com/TV. We'll see you same time, same place next week, 11:05 Central Time on Wednesday. Bye now.